Now we start dealing with hand injuries. And the first important thing at the roadside, you have to tie a bandage in ball holding position. So there is a ball, and if you tie a bandage in ball holding position, all the fingers are in partial flexion, so there will be no contracture. The thumb is opposing the fingers and the wrist is dorsiflexed. So you have to tie a compression bandage in ball holding position to prevent bleeding. So compression or pressure and elevation, because elevation would make the veins collapse and that would decrease the bleeding. So this is at the roadside. Then you transport the patient appropriately. After washing the wound, because washing would clear off any contamination. Put the patient nil orally so that he is prepared for anesthesia, and you can give a prophylactic antibiotic. Now, then you would use the same principles. Enlarge the wound, inspect, trim edges, wash or shave to remove foreign material. Remove dead or dying tissue. Identify what is damaged, means evaluate. Primary repair of the bone, joints, muscles, tendons, nerves and vessels. Then you stitch the wound in a manner that if this is the finger and here is the crease and here is the proximal crease, then you make an incision obliquely so that the fibrosis doesn't produce contracture. So this is the method of giving incisions and the way that you stitch the wound. So stitch so that there will be no contractions. And in the evaluation, you evaluate the skin, the bones, the tendons, the nerves and the vessels. So this, I have already told you the anatomy of the hand, so you would very easily be able to evaluate what is damaged in case of a injury. Now we go on to hand infections. And in hand infections, you must remember that if this is the hand, one type of infection is under the nail, so that is called as onychia. and around the nail it is called as paronychia. Then the second infection is in the synovial sheath that covers the tendon. You must remember that the index finger synovial sheath goes right up to the wrist, and the thumb has its separate synovial sheath, and these three fingers have synovial sheath that will not go under the up to the wrist or in the palm. So if you have to prick, you have to prick these three fingers for taking blood. So this is the applied importance of synovial sheaths of tendons. Then we told you that these are the 5 metacarpals. The dorsal interossei are abductors, DAB, and palmar interossei, the 3 of them are adductors, that is PAD. So if you remember PAD, DAB, you remember the action on these muscles. Then you have the opponens, the flexor and the abductor pollicis. The opponens, the flexor and the abductor digiti minimi. Then you have a transverse head of the adductor pollicis. Then you have a palmar aponeurosis. Then you have a medial septum. So this is the thenar space, this is the adductor space, and this is the mid-palmar space. They ask you the boundaries of this. And here is the palmaris brevis muscle, and here are the tendons. The abductor pollicis longus, the extensor pollicis brevis, the extensor pollicis longus, the extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, indices, the 4 digitorum, and the digiti minimi. So here you have the flexor pollicis longus tendon, here you have the tendons of the flexor digitorum profundus, superficialis, and here you have flexor digitorum profundus. You know that the lumbricals would come from the flexor digitorum profundus tendon and get inserted into the extensor spinatus. So mid-palmar space is always drained through these lumbrical canals. This mid-palmar space is always drained through these lumbrical canals. The second important thing is that if here is the transverse carpal ligament, and therefore if there is an abscess here, it will be enlarged here and it will be enlarged here. So this abscess is called as dumbbell abscess. So you elevate, you drain, send a culture sensitivity, give antibiotics, and you always drain in a manner that there will be no contractures. Following subsidence of infection, you give active physiotherapy to restore joint movement and muscle power. Then there is a question of the paralytic hand. Paralytic hand, we will deal with the brachial plexus, the nerve supply, what it supplies, and basically hand is a organ for pinch, grasp, and hook. So hook is simple. This is the hook. The finger hook, this is simple. But the grasp would need flexion of the MP joint, PIP and DIP joint, and it will need opponents by the thumb. So this is grasp. But pinch, in the pinch you have an extension of the MP joint, but flexion of the PIP and DIP joint, and this is pinch. Extended MP joint means pinch, and a flex MP joint means grasp. Pinch, you use the tips to hold the thing, and in grasp you use the anterior surface of the finger, thumb, and the hand to hold the thing. So this is the difference between pinch and grasp. And the pinch is of three types. It can be a forceps pinch. This is the forceps pinch one, and this is the thumb. This is the forceps pinch. It can be a chuck nut pinch when there is a second finger also involved, or it can be an accoucheur pinch when all fingers are involved. So this is a accoucheur pinch. Depending on how many fingers are involved, you have a forceps, a chuck nut, or an accoucheur pinch. And there can be a key pinch, in which, if this is the index finger, the thumb has gone against its radial side, and you hold the key like this. You hold a key like this. So this is the key pinch. So we will deal with the brachial plexus. We have another video on the brachial plexus, what it supplies, what gets paralyzed, how to examine it, how to deal it in the recovery phase, and how to deal it in the phase of residual paralysis. So this is about the paralytic hand. Then you have a rheumatoid hand. A rheumatoid hand has actually the distension of the joints, so that the ligaments become rheumatoid hand, which becomes there is a synovium. The synovium swells in the joint. It stretches the ligaments, and because of the muscle imbalance, because of pain and spasm, there is deformity. So what are the deformities of the hand? So we draw the hand like this. And see what the deformities are. Wrist, there is palmar flexion, ulnar deviation. MP joints, same deformity. Then the PIP and DIP joints. So one deformity is that there is extension of the PIP joint, hyperextension of the PIP joint, and flexion of the DIP joint. Now this is the swan neck deformity. The second deformity is that there is flexion of the PIP joint and hyperextension of the DIP joint. This is buttonhole or boutonniere deformity. So, and in the thumb what you get is that the thumb is adducted and hyperextended at the IP joint. So this is adducted and hyperextended at the interphalangeal joint of the thumb. So this is called as Z deformity. So these are the deformities that are produced in the rheumatoid hand. You have to investigate as rheumatoid arthritis, and you have to try to treat rheumatoid arthritis by physiotherapy, by splinting it so that deformities don't develop. But if deformities develop, you have to decompress the capsule, which is by synovectomy. You have to restore muscle balance by tenodesis or tendon transfer. you have to release contractures, and you may have to replace joints. The commonest being metacarpophalangeal replacement. This is the phalanx. Cut it here. This is the metacarpal. This is the phalanx, and you have a silastic implant like this, which is made of silicone and elastic, which replaces the metacarpophalangeal joint. So this is a silastic, silicone and plastic implant, and the amount of silicone you have depends how much the joint is going to bend. So this is about rheumatoid hand. Then we can have a spastic hand of cerebral palsy, and this can cause many deformities, but it is basically treated primarily conservatively by holding it in correct position and by giving exercises which are proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Now this means that you do produce movements passively many times, so that the brain starts understanding the movement, and therefore it develops alternate area, and the muscle imbalance is restored, and that movement is gradually gained. So proprioception of a joint by repeated passive movement is used to move the joint. So this finishes the hand.